I'm J. Greg Morrison with REACH Coalition in Holmes County. Our problem of practice in Holmes County is underage drinking among middle and high school youth. The tools that we used to overcome our obstacles were mainly people. Going to our coaches whenever we had a question was the easiest and most welcome thing. They always had, even if they didn't have an answer right away, they sought one out, or they would pose the question to us to help us take another look at what it was that we were asking. Sometimes we didn't always understand what it was we were asking for. The coaches were excellent in helping us to understand our situation. The part of the process that we'll take with us, even after this initiative is ended, will be data collection and quantitative, qualitative, both of those. They're very key. So we'll be implementing both the OES surveys, hopefully in both schools in our county, as well as conducting those important listening sessions to gather up that qualitative data that helps create that full picture. We plan on evaluating those strategies, or the strategy that we chose, by implementing in the short term some surveys to adults and youth alike throughout the county, and again looking at implementing those useful listening sessions in the long term to just see how the campaign has landed with people over a period of time, perhaps a year. I think the more that we can understand our problem of practice and how that happens in Holmes County, we'll understand whether or not our evaluation is landing where it needs to. Evaluations can be tricky, but essentially we are looking to see whether or not our problem of practice has gotten better. And so our evaluation needs to address that final and ultimate end. Part of the evaluation process that we'll take with us would be further data collection, just to see where those numbers are. We've got to have that 30-day use is very key. Our coalition feels that that's a direct measure of the behavior that we're trying to make better in Holmes County. Cultural competence is key. It's just the center of the SPF, and it needs to be, because at every step of the way we've had to remind ourselves what it is that Holmes County is. It's a county that's all about collaboration, relationships. You cannot, as it were, be the prevention expert and dictate to the community what it is that needs to be done. We have to partner with each other. They have to learn to trust us. Oftentimes, experts are not necessarily distrusted, but sometimes feared a bit, thinking that they're going to take over the project. What's great about this process is it's helped us to build a coalition, which at its core is about that collaboration. I think the most crucial step that required that cultural competency was probably at the beginning in collecting data. Unfortunately, our situation in Holmes County was that there was a fair amount of data burnout, survey burnout, and we had to make the case and develop relationships with the schools in order to implement those surveys and just be able to collect data and make this project successful. Once they understood where it was that we were, and helping them understand what the SPF process is and how it's a long-term investment, they finally came on board and saw the great value that it is. There are two key pieces of sustainability that have been built during this whole process that we feel are very important to sustain. One would be the coalition itself, and the second would be the campaigns that we began, or rather the campaign that we've just begun. The coalition decided to sustain these two elements, the coalition itself and the campaign, because we've experienced the disappearance of a coalition, unfortunately, in our past. We understand how important it was, and that we needed to really take a look at what that collaboration would be. The lesson of the past has really helped inform what it is that we're going to do moving forward. Also, this campaign we've worked really hard on, and it sends clear messages that reflect the community's values. I don't think that Holmes County will want that message to go away too soon. I believe the most important thing that we learned engaging in the SPF was that prevention can be complicated, but there are tried and true evidence-based ways of taking on prevention work in a community. And you've got to learn that taking each step along the way carefully and with guidance is the way to go. Coalitions can help sustain that kind of pace that's required. And also seeking out those relationships that we've built statewide with coaches and prevention infrastructure is key to moving forward. We couldn't and will not be able to do it without that wraparound support. I suppose there's some tips or hints that maybe we wish we would have known at the beginning. I think, of course, there was maybe some feelings of overwhelm at first. I think just knowing ahead of time that that's normal and that's part of the process and that this is a learning process will help allay all those fears that anyone would have using the SPF process. It's essential to have that understanding and to again rely on those resources that are there to support. A cultural competency played an enormous, and I would even say the central role in our planning process, because one has to understand how folks collaborate in Holmes County. It needs to be on a personal level. There's often the phrase, we don't care what you know until we know that you care. Folks want to see what work you've done before. My work in Holmes County and prevention, maybe from 2003, has helped establish that understanding of what I'm about. And when I'm part of, I wasn't the only one for sure, but when we look at prevention in Holmes County, the history of that informed just what we could bring to them moving forward. In fact, to help resurrect prevention efforts that maybe had been thought to be a failure because of the last coalition not being sustained. However, they were willing to take a go at it again because they believe in the work that prevention has been doing in Holmes County. But we needed stronger partnerships, and we needed a stronger infrastructure, and we needed to really take a look at all the stakeholders that we wanted to bring to the table and to form a stronger partnership than before. Yeah, sometimes folks in Holmes County want to rely on those who are in authority and who know what they're talking about, but we know that prevention isn't just about the prevention experts taking the lead. The prevention experts need to partner, no doubt, and create a working partnership that can bring everyone along together. The folks at the table with our coalition understand that they're asked to learn this process along with us. That the prevention folks, the project director and the prevention person, myself, aren't necessarily owning the work, but rather we are here to help everyone in Holmes County understand what it is that prevention can do for them and what's in it for them and what it is that we need from our partners in order to succeed. So again, it's about those caring relationships and that trust that needs to develop first. I suppose the advice I would give to any new group or coalition that's taking on this project, they need to take a look at cultural competence, and the way that they could best do that is to be available, to show up and be interested to what work is already being done, and it doesn't even have to be about prevention work. It's whatever stakeholders there are in your community. It's important that you show up and that you listen and that you support, And folks will recognize you as that familiar face that really does care. And they know that you care, and then they may care to know what it is that you know.